Thanks for staying with us. According to the report, a man allegedly killed his fiancée by stabbing her multiple times with different knives in the head and in her eyes. He thereafter ingested a poisonous substance suspected to be a pesticide, and the police in Lagos have, however, commenced investigations into the alleged murder. So now we ask, what could have been done? Is this preventable? What's the place of the family members, neighbors, and society in curbing this kind of violence? We also read in the newspaper something similar to this happening, where couples suspecting each other of infidelity and all of that leads to violence. How can we deal with this situation? So I sort of like squeezed this topic into it today because the ladies didn't want to talk about it. We've been discussing domestic violence back to back for so long. However, we mustn't give up, because somehow I feel like the more we talk about these things, somebody's heart will get touched and soften. Somebody would start thinking of other possible solutions as opposed to killing their spouse. So yes, we need to talk about this, but let's start from what could have been done to prevent this. Is it possible that can it just happen to someone without them being aware? Will there not be signals you can see? What could be done, Mariam?
Okay, so for me, you know, as you started, you said maybe we'll touch someone's heart and the person will have a change of, you know, mind. But I think what is most important is also be careful who you decide to be with. Watch out for the signs and be able to tell what those signs are. We also come from you know, our culture and our society has a way of insisting that you stay in a relationship or a marriage, especially when children are involved, no matter what is being done to you or by you. So it's you're beating up, so you're beating up a spouse. So it can be the man beating up a wife, or a wife, you know, being really violent towards the husband. And everybody says, well, there are children involved. I don't care what you do to each other, but you must stay in this. And, you know, it most of the time ends up badly. And without advocating for divorce or anything, we have seen that some people actually thrive and the children do well in homes where people are living apart and, you know, doing it well. So it's better to be alive and, you know, and doing the right thing and being healthy and have a healthy relationship than being forced into a relationship that not only provokes you to violence or, you know, that you are being violated. So for me is, let's be careful when we make our decisions to be with people. Although it also happens that sometimes you don't see these signs or nothing never happens and then you're in a marriage.
Is that possible?
So, yeah, I think so. Some people would say that, well, yeah, because we have different types of courtship, you know. Some people have the courtship that I meet you, our families meet, whether we like it or not, this is our reality in Nigeria. Yes, we do not have a long courtship. We don't really know each other. And then we find ourselves in a marriage where that is when we're meant to start knowing each other. And usually when you're in a marriage, you're meant to be in a marriage forever. And then you find things like that. I think the best decision is to stay away. And then I guess also we need to have laws, legislation and enforcement of when people are in a domestic, in a violent domestic situation, that they're able to go somewhere and report the case and get like a restrictive order on the person causing violence, or ask someone to stay away from that person using enforcement. So
like you have the security on your side, or whoever is the victim's side, the security should be on their side. BC, is it possible, because Mariam was saying that sometimes you might not know the person, but is it possible for you not to see the signals? Like this is a psychopathic kind of killing. The person plucks out the hair. Like I felt cold. I was shivering. Someone plucks out the individual hair on a woman's head, then stabs her multiple times. You don't just wake up to become like that.
Yeah, I think there's no switch that just happens, except of course the person becomes mad. You know, maybe something happens spiritually and then the person becomes mad. That switch happens. But sometimes the signs are there, but they are subtle. And because of the love that you have, and okay, don't worry, it will change. Like you're the Holy Spirit that has the power to change anybody. Don't worry, it will change later. Or don't worry, everybody has their marriage. People have their baggages. I don't know what's happening in Miriam's house. I don't know what's that happen. Why do I can manage, I can and you just ignore those signs. Sometimes the signs are bold, sometimes the signs are subtle, sometimes the family members will see the signs. And then, okay, let's take for instance somebody who tortures animals. So I got into a relationship with a friend back in school, and I realized how he would catch rats, and instead of killing them in his room, he he will hang them upside down. He will use, he will use a broom and hot iron to torture those animals till they die. And that was a red flag. I was young, but that was a red flag for you. If you can do this to a living thing, what would happen if you fall out of love with me tomorrow? And I ran. So the signs are there. Somebody is upset and he just throws this cup or throws something or destroys property. We see those times, but say, no, he doesn't beat, he will just throw something. The signs are there. We need to start educating our women and our men as well to start paying attention to those subtle signs. And we need to, as a family, we need to start saying that if this relationship doesn't work, daughter, please come back home. There is space for you in this house. Don't let anybody treat you, because most times what happens is the family says you are married though. Marriage is like a leave. Whatever, a gift box, whatever you open, that's what you have. You have to make sure that you stay there and enjoy it. No marriage is blissful, you know. And then people stay there and then they go to their pastors to complain, to their imams to complain. And they say, God hates divorce. Stay there. And people are dying every day in our very before. So we need to, as a society, come together to say, if this is violent in nature, honey, come home. We love you. You'll be okay.
So my worry is...
there was something she said I just wanted to add, which is also you need to... One of the red flags could be how the person treats other people. So you're in a relationship with someone and you see the way they treat their domestic staff or people that work for them, and you think, but he treats you really well or she treats you really well. That's a red flag. I remember also being in a car with someone and his driver upset him and he gave the driver a hot slap from the back. I was cold. I just knew that no. You know, this can never work. But that was a red flag. But a lot of people, actually, we see these people being violent to other people, but because it's not directed towards us.
So if he beats up his siblings, if he beats up friends, if he cannot control his temper, if he gets into fisticuffs regularly, or someone that flares up and verbally abusive, verbally insults people, if he ever says, "I'll just kill you," those are signs. That we need to start paying attention to. There's some things you don't say. I'll just stab you. I'll just kill you. I'll poison you. You will just die. And those are like if you hear it, just run. And let's go to the place of family, because this particular story, we heard that the younger sister of this lady was at home. And there are many cases like this where there was one that happened in Ibadan, that the cases of lawyers, that they resolved, friends and landlord came to resolve the issue and felt that it's been resolved, and they left only for them to hear the next day that something came up again within the night and somebody ended up dead. So what can the society do if you hear someone shouting, if you hear a quarrel going up? How can you intervene before you hear cases of this kind of thing? What's the best way to get involved? May we not end up with our enemies. Amen. And may we not end up with friends who later become enemies. Because sometimes no matter what you do, no matter what the signs are or how your family intervenes, it just ends up sadly this way. Some people would give you their stories and they will tell you some of the challenges that they had to overcome in their homes, and you're like, really? And then when you see them today, so people use those people as examples, but they are the exception. Usually there's a pattern of violence. It continues until it ends up one way like this, either a death or an injury, or someone ends up in prison or in a jail cell somewhere. So the thing is really, you know, pray and just keep your eyes open, and family members need to know what is most important. Yes, value your family, your children as well. Let's take this phone call from Azan. Azan has called us from Lekki. Good morning, Azan. Welcome to the show.
You see, this issue has to do with parents and the subject, the girl. I see no reason why you should allow your daughter to be involved in this live-in lovers to the extent of having children. It's not good. It's not part of our culture. It's not good at all for parents to allow that. And the girls, because of the money involved, you see them having 1, 2, 3. We knew of a musician like that. The parents are looking at him, impregnating their daughter inside their homes. And they're very proud of it. It's very wrong. Number 2, we have our personalities. You understand? Some people are choleric. Some people are melancholic. Some people are phlegmatic. So there's a way you manage people. Even as a woman, you understand, a guy can be rude to somebody and be nice to you. That is where love starts. Secondly, this issue of Ondo State Governor, I know it's not today's topic, but I need to raise it because you were there. You see, there's nothing wrong in giving your wife's relations appointment. It's born out of matrimonial harmony. You understand? You can decide, look, this man of their communication was a chief of staff to Bamanga Tukur in the old Gongola state. You understand? We should begin to mellow that. I know where you're coming from. We knew. You understand? But you now, married to Mark Odigi. Mark Odigi can decide to give your junior sister, your siblings an appointment. And there's nothing anybody can do about that.
Thank you, sir.
You understand? And anybody can come from anywhere and give value. Good.
Yeah. That's your view. So we're going on break, and we're probably just running off this conversation, but we can't overemphasize the reason, all these things that we've shared. Please pay attention, watch out for the signals, and if you can stop or prevent any of these things, please do report, speak up. And we'll take a quick break now. When we come back, we'll continue with another segment. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. Before we move on to our next topic, BC wanted to say something concerning the last one.
Yes, so I want us to get, as a society, because you asked the question, what do we do as a society? What do we do as family members when we see people who are in this domestic violence relationship? And the first thing I want to say is that we need to start exploring being a busybody. What do I mean by that? That you see something happening in another compound, because it doesn't concern you, we've stayed on the sidelines for too long. Yes, we just, it's not I don't know what's happening there. We need to start calling the attention of the law enforcement agencies. Okay, I heard a noise here. What's happening here? We need to start, find out. When you travel and things happen, you can't just play loud music without somebody coming to check what's happening here. Or they hear a noise coming from your apartment and everybody just minds their business. We need to stop minding our business and start paying attention to things that are happening to people around us. Be your brother's keeper. Be your neighbor's keeper. Ensure that everything is okay where you are. So don't just sit back and say, let me face my life like we have been doing for a long time. If as a society we can come together to say, if I see anything going wrong, even if it's a child, yes, you see that it's being beaten anyhow, you should call what's happening? Why are you maltreating this child? Carry the matter on your head. We have minded our business for so long.
Okay, I think for me, just a little, maybe I disagree with you a little. I think originally or traditionally, that's the type of people.
No, we've changed.
Wait, that's the sort of people that we are. We're in each other's business. And also, most of the time, given the sort of way that we live communally, you cannot help but know about someone else's business. So now, what I see the difference is, like, a lot of people that live in the city, usually if you live like in rural communities, you would be living with family members, extended family, just sort of people know people, but in the city, you're living with different people from different places. So I think what we need to do to take it to the next level is, because we're afraid of getting into people's business, we should be able to have a number that you call, a person that you call in authority that can come and say something or do something or speak on behalf. Exactly. I hear this a loud noise in this house, like the story in question. People heard music for long hours and, called authorities and finally went there to break the door down. And that's the thing. We need to be able to know we can call someone, call a place, and
applaud Lagos State government on all they are doing concerning domestic violence. We do indeed in Lagos have a very strong domestic violence unit, and so please avail yourself of the opportunities that Lagos has provided with the emergency numbers where there is need for response.
You can watch Your View on TVC every Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Nigerian time on DSTV channel 418, GOTV channel 27 and channel 47, StarTimes channel 121 and channel 307, Play TV channel 801 and channel 190, UHF 49, Sky channel 515 for UK viewers. Watch live on Facebook at TVC Connect and on our website tvcentertainment.tv/livestream.